Hello and welcome to Beyond My Tool podcast, the podcast which is designed for you to teach you, to encourage you how to navigate the life of an entrepreneur, a business owner, or even as a simple person. Today I'm joined by a good friend, Coach Balé Granville. It's an honor to have different guests in the room, different subjects all the time, which I think is very helpful for the audience. And happy to have you. And if you can take 10 minutes to share who you are, your background, and
wow. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for creating this platform that everyone could actually benefit from what is being produced here. My name is Balé Granville. I was actually born in the island of Tobago in the Caribbean, and where I grew up until I was about 24 years old, and then I moved to the UK. Now, in terms of my childhood, it was a very, very happy childhood. Like my parents, they weren't together, so I used to spend time with my dad and my mom, split the time until, I really grew up with my mom until I was about like 7 years old, and then I moved in with my dad. Yeah. And then I spent weekends with my mom. But growing up, it was lots of, your cousins are your first best friends, right?
Oh yeah.
So it was loads of us. Like about 13, 14 of us, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So it was making a lot of mischief, climbing trees, going to the neighbor's place, happy times. When I was growing up, I wanted to be all sorts. First you wanted to be a policeman and a fireman and
pilot.
And eventually I wanted to be an architect. That's what I wanted to focus on. So while going through secondary school and you finish secondary school, then my dad was asking me, so what do you want to do? Do you want to go to A levels? So yeah, I said, I'm not quite sure if I really want to do A levels. I think it might be a waste of time. Probably just want to go learn something.
Okay.
And since I wanted to go down the architectural route, I was like, why not learn one of the computer-aided design courses? Software.
Okay.
And one of my cousins, like distant cousins, elderly, he actually owned a company, like a land surveying company, where he had AutoCAD on his computer. So my dad spoke to him and said, could I come and learn? And I was just about 17 years old or so. Mm-hmm. So I went there, and this was like September or so, and started to learn. Go to the help menu, read the menu, and say, all right, well, this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. And this was on September till December. I did that, and in December, his company closed down for Christmas break.
Okay.
Right. So it was a very small company. Nothing major. Just had a few guys working with him. So, of course, we shut down. When I came back, I alone and one of his workers showed up. Everybody else did not show up.
Oh, wow.
So he was like, you know what? You seem the fairly intelligent guy. Do you want to learn how to do this land surveying thing? So I was like, I said, well, no problem. I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, I wasn't doing anything anyways, except learning AutoCAD. So this is my story of how I actually started in the engineering field and land surveying. So I started land surveying, and you learn, become a chain boy, follow the guidance of the one guy that showed up, and then eventually you pick up, and then they give you a little bit more responsibility as they trust your work and all that. So by the time I was 19 years old. So I stuck with it, and he decided that people. He brought in more people, and then he said, "Well, you guys should probably study something." So we did like a correspondence land surveying course where they would send in material from the US. This was US based. Mm-hmm. So they send in material from the US and we would study and then send the coursework back. They would mark it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did that. So it was like sort of on-the-job training, if you want to call it that, or like an apprenticeship, right? Yes. So we did that, and I was the only one that actually finished the course, right? Oh. So people dropped out, people like stopped working, but I was the only one that actually finished the course. So I got a diploma in land surveying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I just continued working on. Around 19 years old, I moved to a different company, and that company actually got the contract to do the Dwight York Stadium. So I remember driving around the stadium and with the owner of the company, and I told him, you know what, I think I could do this, And he says, you think so? I said, yeah, I think I could. And this is 19 years old, and he said, all right, and he just gave me the equipment, and he's like, you go ahead. So this is there's a national stadium, and this was for the 2001 under 17 World Cup. So they were building several stadiums in Trinidad and Tobago at the time.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of them was in Tobago.
Oh, wow.
So I told him, yeah, I'll do this. And he was like, all right, go ahead. And he just gave me the equipment. And that was me. I was on the stadium, setting out the stadium at 19. I had a really good project manager. So I think he was happy that I was young and enthusiastic and listen to him. Driven and just wanted to learn more. Okay. So I used to listen to him quite a lot, and he would just explain to me, some of the ways of doing things. So as a 19-year-old, that was me. So we finished the project where we finished the project in about a year and a half or so. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I moved on to just doing some other projects. We did like a 18-hole golf course for like Hilton Hotel.
Oh.
Yeah, things like that. And then eventually decided, you know what, I want to come to England.
Okay.
So this is so there was special visas for people to come to England and do work. I had already several years of work experience behind me, and I had the diploma in land surveying. So I decided, all right, well, I'll come to England and we'll do some work. But then at the time, some friends of mine were introducing me to a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So, you start reading that and then you start thinking, geez, I'm working too hard.
Rather than smart.
I'm working really hard, but I'm not working smart at all. So we started looking into, the first things we started looking into, something that's relatively cheap to get into, is network marketing. So, they have all these companies. And, well, the good thing about network marketing, it teaches you a lot of about entrepreneurship at a very cheap price. It's not very expensive to get into. So you learn certain things and, how to interact with people, and you learn about sales and all that. So you started doing that probably around 20 years old. I remember my first company was called Symmetry. I was trying to sell tablets.
Oh, there you go.
You
need to start.
So you start somewhere, and then eventually I went on to, I think there was a company called Zango. So just at the time, just before I came to England, joined a company called Zango, and then they didn't necessarily have an English base. So I'm thinking, all right, well, I could go to England, I could start off a base there and, make it big,
Wow. So in essence, all your study has been done in Tobago, some here as well.
So eventually I came, started trying to get this Zango thing up and running. I remember even going to the first meeting that I ever had. This guy from Jamaica actually started it, and one of the executives came over. It was a room of about 5 people in there. So we were in there and they were launching Zango. I mean, Zango was big in the States at the time. So, so we were probably at the right time in the UK. But then, being here, you've got to be on visas, there are loads of restrictions and all that. So it became extremely difficult, as entrepreneurship is. And I started focusing on work as I worked for a construction company. And because I had the experience of the stadium, then they put me on some buildings. So they were building several schools. This was in the Swindon area. And it's so funny that it was Swindon because I wasn't even looking at Swindon. I was just in London at the time. And I think I had about two months worth of money when I came, enough to pay rent for 2 months and food. So a month in, nothing showed up. And just about a month and a week in, the agent got me an interview with one of the largest construction companies. I didn't even know that, it was very sort of revered, if you want to call it that. Everybody wanted to work for these guys. I didn't know them. I didn't know anything about them. But they had a project in Swindon, and I actually had an uncle who lived in Swindon for 30 years.
Oh.
Right. So it just so happened that I could have gone to him and stayed. But I wasn't looking in Swindon at all. So just by coincidence. So I went to my uncle, I stayed with him, I did the interview, got the interview, and started, we were building some schools there, some secondary schools there. They were building 7 schools at the time. And so I was on one of the schools.
Quite a long project.
Yeah, big project. But at the time I thought, you know what, maybe I should, because this was more engineering rather than land surveying. And, my qualifications were land surveying. So I thought, maybe I should approach these guys and ask them whether, they want to put me through university to do civil engineering. And I spoke to the project manager. Again, I had a good relationship with the project manager. I think he saw my enthusiasm and stuff. And he's like, hey, I just apply to the university and then I'll push it through for you. So I did that. And I got an unconditional offer to the university. And so they paid for me to go to university. That's how it happened. Yeah, thank God.
Good employees.
Yeah.
I've been through a similar scenario where the company I used to work for, they actually asked in one of the appraisal, I think the first appraisal we ever did with them after nearly 12 months.
Yep.
It was like, okay, what trainings, what qualification would you like to have?
Yep.
Because we really want to, we work with you for long term.
Yes.
And then actually was the time when I say, I'm tapping in the plumbing and the gas.
Yes.
And it's phenomenal. I mean, obviously, they did see the potential, they see the hard work, and you're there all the time buzzing. So
that's it. Yeah, I think the most important lesson here is to be enthusiastic. Be at least amiable.
Show up every morning.
Be on time. Show some enthusiasm in what you're doing, and then doors will open for you.
Oh,
sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So background and inspiration, obviously you started with that. So I know from someone that you actually have a side hustle job, I will call it.
Well, it's actually a business.
So it's a full-time, it's a business that used to be a side hustle. So can you expand on that?
Right. So a part of, as I came, I studied, still did my qualifications, still working in the engineering field. But in the background, I'm still thinking about the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, that I bought. But I still have to go through the whole process, the whole visa process, right? It's loads of visas to go through. And again, you're slightly restricted. So what I did, I dropped the network marketing thing and decided, let me just look into property. And I was thinking that, we probably need loads of money to do property and all that. But I got connected with some guys who was actually teaching how to do like no money down deals.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But I had to do a course, right? So you had to pay a certain amount of money to do a course, and then they teach you. And they built a community. So we had a community that we could talk to each other and build relationships and all that. So I started doing that, and I started looking for these no money down deals. You actually had like a website and all that. So started doing that, And it started off slowly but surely, because you're looking for certain specific things. And of course, I'm a foreigner, so it's still very difficult to even get a mortgage. But I forgot a little side note. So this was my first year in England. I was like thinking about Rich Dad Poor Dad and all his teachings. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna just continue renting. Right, I started working. So one Saturday, it's like, I need to just go to an estate agent and see what there is. Now, I knew I had no money whatsoever, right? But you do. You just take the steps. So I went in. Literally, it was the first agent that I went in, and on this main street, they had probably about 7 or 8 agents, and one next to each other. So the first one I went into, it's like, hey, what do you have? What do you have? And he said, well, how much deposit do you have? And I was like, none.
No money, done deal.
Yeah, but he said, you know what? There's actually a couple that's getting divorced, and they're trying to sell off their property quickly. Let's have a look at this. What your pay like and all that. And it's like, well, but at this time there was something called like a vendor deposit, something like that. Right. Yeah. Like, so I said, yeah, the vendor could put in the 10%, 15% that you need, and then the rest is So this was probably October of the first year I was in England, and by November, December, we moved into the house. With no money down. So when I thought, I could do no money down, so I was like, all right, let's do this again then. And so that's how I got the inspiration to like, really, it's probably possible. It's possible. But again, it's just steps of faith. Because if I didn't go and ask, right? So this is ask, seek, and knock, right? If you don't do it, you don't get. So
definitely.
So yeah, that's how that started off. So I started off in that arena, and the first year, I found one decent deal that I could do, and then the second year I found, a second deal that I could do. So by the third, fourth year in, I had 3-4 properties.
Oh, wow.
And
this was what years? 2000 and
this was 2005, 6, 7. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly those years. So 2005, 2006, 2007. But during the property courses, one of the teachers, he would bring in somebody who was teaching trading, right?
Okay.
So there's like a part of your property portfolio journey into, I guess, money management. You should understand trading. So he brought in the traders, and he would, I don't know what he was talking about, but he'll put the charts up, and he said, all right, trading this, and you could potentially, make this amount. And I was like, okay, cool. Then you would say, all right, but you need to come on our training course, and the course is £2,000 for the weekend, right? Just for the weekend, right? So I was like, woo, £2,000 for the weekend. Yeah, okay. And after that, it would be like, this is just the basic. You've got to do the intermediate course, and that will be £5,000, right, to get your level up to a decent standard that you could start making a living. Like, okay. So, and if you want to really master this thing, then you'll have to do a £10,000 course for a year's mentorship, and you'll get to mastery level. So I'm thinking, hold on a minute, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Look at the amount of money that you have to spend before you even start anything. So I never got involved at that time. But somewhere around 2016, a friend of mine gave me a call, and he says, I know you were really interested in trading. Have a look at this, because I'm going to be launching this soon. It's just like they're going to be teaching you how to trade, and trading company. So have a look. So I was like, okay, but how much is it going to cost? Of course, because my experience is this thing is going to cost about 20,000. And he said, oh yeah, it's just a monthly subscription of 199 US per month. For the first month, 199, and then months after that was 165. It's like, really? I said, okay, sign me up there. Sign me up. So that's how I got involved in the trading side of things. This was 2016 into 17. So started there probably 7 years ago.
Wow.
And so, started there with the company. And of course, eager to get going. I didn't have much time because I was still doing engineering. So I could only wake in the morning, probably about 7 o'clock, have a look at the lessons, because it was like an online academy of sorts, and have a look at the lessons and you're learning. Then 2 weeks in, I'm ready to go, right? I'm ready to load up my account and trade. Well, that account didn't even last a day.
Lesson learned.
So I was like, all right, maybe I need to go back to the academy and, learn a bit more.
Take every lesson one by one.
Don't skip lessons, right? So I went back to the academy, and so I was ready. The next week, I was ready. I was ready the next week. Loaded up that account. That account lasted about 3 days. So it's like, wow, I'm absolutely getting destroyed here. That was improvement, right? So this was a December. So the market usually gets quiet December and then opens back up January. So when it opened back up in January, loaded up another account. Well, that one probably lasted a week, and I was like, wow. I'm getting really destroyed here, and I need some help. So I looked at my local area and I started searching for trading professionals or people who teach trading or and this guy, he used to live in London. He used to work professionally as a trader. I saw his website, and he said he teaches retail traders, which is like you and I, people at home, how to trade like the banks. I was like, all right. So I sent him a WhatsApp message. His mobile number was on the website, and he says, well, it's like strange that you messaged me like this, but you say that you want to learn. I was like, all right, let's go. So he had a sort of a payment method. You pay him, I think it was 1,500 or so, for 10 one-on-one sessions with him.
Okay. So
I paid him, and we had, I think it was Zoom calls. At the time, he had just Zoom calls, and he would show me certain things. So then I showed him some of the stuff that I was learning from this other company, and I showed him some of the tools and all that. And he says, oof, what is this? Oh, wow. That was his question. He said, like, what is this? It's like, this is the tool. This is like the big tool that they say that the big banks use for trading. And he's like, dude, if you believe that, I am worried for you. So I was like, oh, okay. Oh. So it's like, but these people saying that they're making so much money off of this thing. Yeah, of course. So there's a lot of saying, but in my account wasn't saying that at all. My account was absolutely being destroyed. But I am trading it, so I'm thinking, well, it's probably me. It's probably me. And so he says, don't do that. Just follow what I showed you. Just keep it nice and simple. But of course, there's a lot of noise, and then your friends are in there, and they're like, yeah, this one is doing this one is doing that. I was like, all right, well, I've learned this from this guy. But the method he showed me is like a lot of patience, and it probably takes a lot of capital as well. I was starting off with a small amount of money, and these guys are saying, well, at least the friends that got me into this thing saying, hey, there's thousands of pounds being made here. It's like, all right, well, I'll stick with it. I'm here already. It's only 165 per month anyways, so I'll stick with it. But of course, I kept the method that this guy taught me at the back of my head. And I stuck on and plodding away a year in and still not really seeing that much progress.
Not breaking even.
Not even breaking even, 2 years in, still not even breaking even. And probably about the third year, you're now starting to see some progress, because it's a journey of yourself as well. You're understanding yourself. Emotions. Yeah, that's right. The emotions, all of that. And I came up with a method of how to approach the market. And did a little video of it and shared it within the community. And one of the programmers in the community saw it, and they liked it, and they messaged me and said, "Hey, we really like that method that you've got there. How about coming and teaching it, for us officially?" Okay. So the company that I was with them for about 2.5 years or so by then, and they were like, "All right, well, we'll take you on as one of the educators of the company." This online company, and you will teach the trading. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, teach your method. Put it that way. Teach your method. So started doing that, and a lot of students were having a lot of success. But of course, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking of the guy that I did the one-on-one sessions with him, and I'm thinking, well, he's saying that these guys ain't teaching anybody the real thing, and he showed me what to a certain extent, what the real thing was. I think he sort of dampened it down a little bit because he probably didn't think I was necessarily ready for, all the information and all the truth behind trading. However, I still kept, searching and having other private tutors. So probably about 3-4 years in, I met one guy, a guy from the US. And he was, teaching quite a lot of really advanced stuff. So I stuck with him for over a year. I was going to classes 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon.
Wow.
And I did that for about 6 months. I was just learning this advanced method. And then I started to incorporate that into my teaching that I was teaching for the online company. But I realized that they didn't necessarily like me doing that. Right? They didn't want me to, show too much, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So eventually they started coming out with contracts. They wanted me to sign a contract saying anything that I came up with, it was theirs and all that. So I was like, well, no way. Right? So I left them. I left them about 2 years ago. So I was with them I was teaching with them for 4 years, and I left them 2 years ago, and I just set up my own thing. So this is where we come to the side hustle, right? So that was the whole story to lead up to that, right? So
long journey.
Yeah,
so of course. It's not that easy.
Oh no, it wasn't overnight at all. It was a long journey.
You was right. I mean, I did try a few times, but I did not have the resilience to try it again, and probably I just stuck with my second side hustle, like that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's so much noise out there.
Lots of noise.
And I think if you don't have the patient resilience and the focus to stay and learn and actually judge what's correct, what's not correct. Mm-hmm. But you're right. There's so much noise out there. This is the tool. We'll make the money on auto. Yeah. I mean, YouTube is crazy for it. And people who go onto YouTube to try to learn trading, well, that's a minefield. It's a minefield. And then, I saw a friend of mine recently posted a video learning to I think it was tango or something, or one of those dances on YouTube. I said, I'm learning on my own. She posted a video. Funny story with my wife. So one afternoon, she just had she craved for homemade bread.
Right, okay.
But just literally bad. I mean, she's like, I just want to. We knew the recipe, but it will take about 2.5 hours.
Yes, yeah.
And she came up across this recipe on YouTube, how to make the sour bread or something like that in literally 25 minutes. And believe me, we follow absolutely everything.
to the T.
But it did not work. So there you go, YouTube. Yeah, be careful.
So the moral of the story is that we actually need mentorship. Mentorship is the shortcut to success. Yeah. It's a wise man learns from his own mistakes, but the wiser man learns from the mistakes of others.
Yeah.
So this is where mentorship comes in. For anything that we're doing in life, right? So I needed mentorship for the property investment. You needed proper mentorship for the trading side of things as well. So it's through those mentorships I was able to get the confidence to be able to break away from what that company was teaching and started my own stuff. So what I've got now is an academy. You come in and you learn the right way of approaching things, having the right mindset, and also some people don't want to learn, right? Some people literally just want to come in and make money, right? Which is kind of all well and good, but we still need to have their minds focused in the right way. But what they do is they take trade ideas from myself, or I've got some coaches now. So these coaches were students of mine, really, who knew nothing, was absolutely getting destroyed, like I was when I started off. But then they started doing really well. One of my coaches made over 100,000 US last year, right? Wow. So from trading. So he came on board, and another one came on board. But they're from all over the world. And they teach sessions online, and they guide people, but they also send their ideas out. So whatever ideas that they send out, people are now able to come in and take those ideas. We teach them how to manage the risks properly, and once they stick to those rules, they're doing well. So people are now coming in and doing really well from what we're doing.
Oh, so yeah. But by the look of it, it comes a lot to the mindset, discipline.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you've got to have a system.
Know the risk, manage the risk.
Correct.
It seems like you did not know that at the beginning.
Well, the reality is that the information that I had with what trading was totally false, right? I was on the wrong foot from day one, right? If you think that trading was something that you just get into to make money very, very quickly without that much capital or anything, it just doesn't work like that. It's a business. You need capital to start off, and of course you need to manage your risks appropriately. And plus, not every day is a trading day. Like you don't want to be in the market every day. You need to wait for the market to tell you when to engage, right? But that wasn't being taught.
So obviously, if you take it as a way of getting rich quick, then you will chase this, and your emotion will ruin down your account.
You will be destroyed. Yeah, right. For sure.
Are you finding any similarities between the two jobs you have, the way how you approach them?
Well, the one thing that I would say is not very much similarities between engineering and trading, except for it takes time to master both engineering and trading. It does take a little bit of time, so you need to put the time in. And then, from the sort of the compound interest formula, if you put it that way, there is T in there, which is time, right? Yeah. If you don't have that T in there, you don't get a compounding effect. You can't get a compounding effect. So the only way to get a compounding effect is with that time. And the more time you're compounding over time, the more it rolls over. And you understand, you actually make more money from compounding at the far end of the spectrum rather than at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So
it looks like we live in a time now where probably the young generation, they are pushed towards this get rich quick.
Yeah,
It's just like, it's shocking to see. Obviously, them. I'm not saying necessarily all of them, but vast majority of them, they are scams.
Yep.
People
Unfortunately,
dropping, and even to extent of property courses.
Yeah.
There are a lot out there, which I'm not necessarily saying they are bad, but probably they are sold to be easy. You don't need knowledge. But in the end, what we know both, what's his name, Dave Ramsey, is all the time saying on the money management that actually just 20% is head knowledge, the 80% is the behavior. So people, correct, if you don't get to the right mindset for whatever career you pursue, then obviously you'll just believe that things are easy.
Correct.
But you don't have the right mindset, and you just said it, that you did not have the correct mindset on the trading, and obviously that did not end up well at the beginning.
Correct. Yeah, mindset is everything. Skill set is just one part, but mindset, you've got to think of things and approach things in the right way.
On your engineering job, say like that, are you acting as a freelancer?
Yeah, so I actually own a business, like as a consultant. So it's like, so people would call in.
What's the benefits of acting like that? Is this something particular you like, being more flexible?
Yes, it has a lot of flexibility, right? And I could go wherever I want. If I was working for a company, then you go where the company sends you, and that could be miles away from home. You could be working away from home for a very long time, because engineering projects,
can take a long time.
is probably 2-3 years, and wherever you are is where the project is. So as a freelance engineer, I could decide, well, I just want to work 2 hours. An hour. In fact, that's my radius. Like, I don't want to be more than an hour away from home.
That's cool.
At any one time. So that's the type of projects that I'm looking for, to be within an hour. And not only that, but then when the winter comes in, it's cold for a Caribbean boy, So that's cool for me.
So how is the weather now for you? You love it?
I mean, for now, it's nice. It is warm. I could do it at a beach, to be fair, but
a bit of seaside.
Yeah, a little bit of a seaside. I think I need to speak to the council about that. But during the winter, I decide, we're not going to.
And what about
we're not going to work.
How you get your contracts?
It's actually through an agent. So the agent is actually motivated to look for a contractor, which actually works out fine. Sometimes you think, oh geez, they're such a pain. They keep calling you. It's like, oh, we got a contract here, we got a contract there. Especially during the winter, I was like, dude, no thanks. I'm not interested in the contract at all.
So you kind of choose.
Yes, that's right. So there's the choice and there's the flexibility.
That's quite good then.
Yeah.
So that then easily you can balance family.
Correct.
The other company.
Correct. That's right. So that's the important bit. And then of course you want to set yourself up in such a way that they don't take the taxes off of you in the first instant. Take all your taxes, and then you're left with, all right, I'm left with this to try and survive on. So yes, you're setting yourself up in that way in terms of a business structure. It helps to be a bit more tax efficient.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely. And would you advise younger generation to pursue this type of career where they give them the chance to manage the time? Because it is one thing in today's society, everybody's so busy that sometimes we kind of forget that we have someone at home.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, right, the civil engineering industry is more of an sort of an industrial age type industry, right? We're living in a different age right now, and we're living in the information age, right? So the person with information, once you're able to, I guess, disseminate that properly and get that information out to a mass amount of people, I think those are the ones that could really have a decent lifestyle. So I would suggest getting into something that you could share information with a mass amount of people. I mean, even if you do get into engineering, all well and good, but engineering is very sort of specialist, and only, I guess, a small amount of people see a direct benefit to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, for the future goals and inspiration, are you have any plans? I mean, obviously you're already in both of them quite in. What are your plans, on the engineering side or on your trading? What was your end goal?
So I guess on the engineering side of things, it will stay pretty much as is. But in terms of the trading side of things, we want to expand this knowledge to more people, because more people, or a lot of people, are being exposed to knowledge that is not necessarily that doesn't benefit them at all with regard to trading. So we want to expand that out to more people. Actually doing a free trial at the moment where people could come in and they could see what we're doing as a free, just a free look in, if you want to call it that, and so that they get an idea of how we approach things in trading, and they actually see the results as well. So they'll see the results of other students and how they benefit. And it's difficult for a new person coming in, especially a new person who had already had some sort of experience in trading, but wasn't successful, because there are now some bad habits to break. But we could once you're willing,
you can brainwash.
Yeah, we could break the habits. It's easier to deal with somebody who had no perception of trading whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Someone say in our sector that sometimes to take an old plumber on board, it can be difficult, because he will do it on the way how he like to. Yeah. Not that necessarily I'm doing plumbing differently, but when it's coming to customer service, the way how you interact with customers, the way how you because every company, you'll get their own blueprint.
Yep.
How to deal with a customer, polite and all that procedures. And when you have an old plumber, which he knows his own way, it's difficult to change the behaviors. So do you see potential opportunity for synergy between these two? I mean, in the way that for me it looks like both of these fields, they're very time driven and what do you call it? To be constant is not something which you just tap in and you are in. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're always learning. That's also the reason why I haven't really given up 100% on engineering, is because there's always something to learn. There's always some sort of new technology, right? There's always some sort of new technology or a different way of going about things. So you want to be able to learn that. And you want to be able to stick with that, even though you're not doing it on as full time as other people. I mean, I've got a friend who's a lawyer, but is trading, but full-time entrepreneur. But he sticks with the law stuff, and he probably does one case a month now, right? Just to stick with the law. Okay. And then he's more focused on trading and business. So similar things to do in terms of the way I approach trying to balance things out. So I stick with the engineering side of things and just to learn. But then on the trading side, of course, there's stuff coming in. AI is coming in, right? But again, AI is good. We use AI for our stuff as well. But we've got to be very careful that we think AI is just going to do all the trading for us and we're going to make loads of money. It's just not happening that way at all. But AI is very useful to give us or clarify information that we may have, right? We could run it through AI just to get some more clarity so that we could make a proper trading decision. And we do that every day. We do that every day, just to make a proper trading decision. So, we're rolling with the technology as it comes through, but using it in the correct way.
Okay. So if someone comes to you, say that we got the AI tool to do the trading for you, just run.
Run. Yeah. So the most important thing is run from anybody who says that you don't have to do anything. Just give us the money and you will just see this return or that return, or run from those things. As soon as they say you don't have to do anything, or it's easy, or run. Right? But people are desperate. People are so desperate for money. Right? People are so desperate that they sign up for anything.
Why we lean towards that idea that that's the way to earn money, but not doing anything.
By not doing anything, yeah. It doesn't happen. The world doesn't work like that.
Even in my field as a plumber, for years I did not honestly did not understand necessarily that I actually can serve people. I did not take it that way. I said, oh, they need a plumber. I just go there, fix their stuff, repair the boilers, and there you go. But as I engage more and more with customer and realize that actually what I'm doing, I'm serving the customers.
Yep, exactly.
And I think Robert Kiyosaki has a quote saying that do not focus on money, focus on
the
serving
service. Correct.
More people. Serving more people bring you more money.
Exactly.
But we live in the time now where I don't know. It's just everybody wants to make money.
Well, you see, I heard something recently, and they said, if your focus is on winning, you have already lost.
Oh yeah.
Right. But if your focus is on helping other people to win, then
right. I just heard the same quote today.
Yeah.
Oh, who was it?
I'm not quite sure who it was. I don't know the person at all, but it was just like a random interview that they were having.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, just like a random interview they were having, and he mentioned that, and I was like, yeah, that's it right there. So we've got to keep focusing. Every day I'm just trying to figure out how could I serve my customers a bit more.
I heard from a real estate guy in USA because someone was interviewing
him. So it's the same one. Yeah.
And I was shocked to say, So the guy saying like, well, I did not focus on myself winning.
Yes.
I focus on their win.
Yes,
so
correct.
On your customer.
Yes, correct. On the customers winning. So every day I'm just asking, say my students, what do you want help with? What are you focusing on right now? So that once I know what they need help with, I could go away and say, all right, okay, they need help on this. I could brush up on certain things and then teach them, so that they keep winning. Once they're winning, the business is gonna, and they would bring people as well. Word of mouth is the best way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we win a lot of jobs like that, and they are the easy ones.
Sorry,
they are the easiest ones.
Of course they are.
When people you try to explain what you're saying, and the customer is like, "We know you already."
Yeah.
When can you do the job?
Exactly.
Ka-ching. That's a good one. Right. So. What message do you have? So that will be inspiration for you, the young professionals. I'm not sure how it is in your field, but in our field, it seems like that the colleges, they don't help a lot the new tradespeople to get in, the youngsters. It's quite a long program, even in plumbing. You need to be actually for 4 years. With a company. So it's not that you as a young person you don't want, but you need to find a company who's willing to keep you for 4 years.
Willing to get you, yeah. So, I mean, to be fair, in land surveying, because I was thinking to do land surveying, and in land surveying you have to work with a licensed land surveyor for 7 years before you could even do your license exam.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a long process, and you have to have a degree in land surveying as well. Right.
So again, it's coming process. To the time.
Yeah. It's all about the time, right? So I would suggest that if you could get into some sort of a program that you could start learning from a young age, which try to figure out what you want to do at a young age. Try to get into a program and learn and learn as much as you can. And within that framework as well, especially when you're young, is good to make mistakes, because again, mistakes are there for you to learn. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because if you're afraid to make mistakes, you're afraid to learn. So you got to go out there and do that, and then also have a heart of service as well, because think as you are learning all of this, think of how could you serve other people with the knowledge that you have, because we're in a knowledge-based society at the moment. So if the people with the knowledge, as I said, the people with the information, this is the age that we're in, are the ones, once you could disseminate that, once you could share that or teach it to masses, then you should, you'll have food on your table for the rest of your life, right? So learn as much as you can, and then have a sort of a heart or a mindset of how do we serve other people with this information.
Recently I launched a new platform called Gasman on school, and the idea behind is I came across I'm kind of fairly new in the plumbing and heating industry, so I think we are trading now for about 7, 8 years, but I'm the kind of guy, I like technology all the time. So if something new which can help me, and even to the extent that you can take the payment with your phone, just a tap in. So anything to help the transaction, to help the customer, to be more transparent, because remember, I think it was my second year, and I joined a group called BNI. And in BNI, I met a person who was an Australian guy, who was a business coach. And obviously, it was my first years. It was struggling still, difficult to find customers, not having the correct mindset. And the guy said to me, Florian, it's true that there are a lot of plumbers out there, a lot of gas engineers, and it's a bit of battle between you guys. And, most of you guys compete price-wise rather than service. And the guy said, you need to look into the society, into your place, your community. What are the pieces of puzzle which are missing? What do you think a customer wants from a plumber? And put them down there. So first and foremost, to pick up the phone call. Just answer that phone. And then, if you need to have an appointment to, a survey, go on that time you said you'll go. Provide the code. And this basic stuff, because actually this is happening. There are so many plumbers out there. They are so busy. Not that they are intentionally doing this, but they are so busy they don't have any system in place to help them to manage their time. They're just a mess. And then as I start to implement these sort of things, I realize that actually, they do cost a bit of money, this software, but it's not a fortune. But it did help me to actually have a clear view of what I'm doing. And then understand that I provide service to customers easy, and slowly so I start to grow. But still I bump into plumbers probably some age or even younger than me, as a sole trade or as a company. They still not using a system where they are very easily to engage with the customers. Today, we live in this time where, you order on Amazon at 10 o'clock in the evening and you expect tomorrow morning Amazon on your door.
But that took them years to develop.
We don't go in that subject if it's a good or a bad thing. But, we understand more and more that the customer behaviors move towards that thing, that they don't want to waste their time. And with the plumbers, tend to happen, customer booked for that time and they don't show up. And it's such a, frustrating thing. And I start to develop this system where, okay, we need to actually be more transparent, and we give them like a half an hour or 1 hour window frame, but we do get to the job. There's no such a thing. And in this community, what I want to kind of share is, there are a lot of plumbers even saying that, I don't like technology. And a lot of them, they have that fear that actually they will mess up. Things are quite simple. They're not that difficult. But it's just that fear of changing. You cannot stay out there and still be, busy when you don't want to change, because things are changing. We are 2024. If you look 10 years ago, they were not here. So we evaluate, evolve.
Over time.
So why not then? So I think it's important to share your experience, share your knowledge. I think that's one thing. Even though I won't be able to teach a plumber to be a better plumber, technically speaking, if you know what I mean, because obviously there's another thing which time and how hard you work, and how much you want to learn. But when it's coming to the side, which I think is very crucial,
teach them how to serve.
To serve, because it's like we gained so many customers. I remember there was this guy in local, and bless him, he will refuse even now. Even today, he still has his diary, pen and paper. But it's quite difficult to manage stuff. And someone said to me, once you get to a certain turnover, is the time for you to bring an admin person to deal with your phone call, emails, because it's not normal for a customer to call you and after 3 days you did not return the call. That sort of stuff.
Not good.
Because if you're in this business and you became better and better, obviously there's a reason. So then just
well, in network marketing, they said system stands for save yourself time, energy, and money.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So we need to have systems in place to be able to save ourselves time, energy, and money, and of course to serve the customer better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the digital era we are
of course we have to
and like we said about Amazon it was I mean, it's shocking how quick and you can go there and you search the market whatever you want. But it's nothing wrong to implement that in our business as well.
Exactly
There's nothing wrong. I remember on the payments, the service we're using, the software we're using, it gives so many options to the customer to choose how to pay. And at the very early stage, plumbers used to like cash a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And
it's like a Chinese restaurant.
Yes, sort of, yeah. But if you go that route, you'll be limited how to grow your business. If you go that route, whenever you'll have an extra engineer or something like that, how you'll manage the payments. You will have to put time aside to go to collect payment from customers. It's just silly. It's just literally, it's not possible. We do have customers where they are not capable to do a bank transfer or card payment. And simply thing what we do, we post the invoice and ask them to take the invoice to the bank and do the bank payments. But anything else to help the customer to pay as soon as possible, help us as well with the cash flow in the company. So I'm doing now a course specific for business, and everybody says cash is the king. Cash is the king. Necessarily that is a king, but a company without the cash in obviously won't be able to survive. So then why not putting a system in place to help you to cash out the service, the invoice as soon as possible? So it's a good one. But I want to ask you a few more things. I mean, you already mentioned a few projects. What was the biggest of most entertainment project you've been into because again, you have the chance to be in some places where not everybody gets.
So the stadium was quite big, especially for the age that I was at. So that was a big project. It was probably the largest engineering project on the island at the time, anyways. Okay. So a 19-year-old to do that was something. The 18-hole golf course for the Hilton Hotel, and that was a golf course from scratch. It didn't exist, right? So that was a nice project as well. Here in the UK, the schools are mentioned, but we also did some cancer treatment bunkers. There's a significance to it.
Okay.
This was in Exeter. I work for the UK Atomic Energy Agency, and we were building a bunker for fusion energy. So that's a significant project as well. So I did that for several years with the UK Atomic Energy Agency. We did student housing, a lot of stuff, and military airport, repaving military airports. So nice projects, but you're always thinking Robert Kiyosaki in the back of your head, right? When you're exchanging your time for money and you're thinking, it's okay, nice project, but who is actually making the money is really the company, the big company.
Obviously, a job like this helps you easy to invest your money.
Yes, correct.
Because,
that's right. So you've got to.
That will be the kind of closing section where.
Correct.
Do you have a discipline of how you invest your money, how you look after your money? Because obviously,
yes. So we have to have a structure. And you remember you mentioned Dave Ramsey earlier. So we do follow a lot of the principles from Dave Ramsey in divvying up the money and having it accountable. We did the Financial Peace University, which was really good to get your mind clear on how we manage the finances appropriately as well. I mean, and again, is not overnight that is going to fall into place, but at least we have some sort of a structure to be able to follow, and just follow the guidelines, and it will be there.
I think it's an important discipline to, especially
develop the discipline.
It's not just for your personal finance, but for your company as well.
Yes, that's right.
Because if you don't follow that thing, I came from a background where, as a country, Romania, obviously ex-communist country. I was born during the communist
time.
So when Romania kind of became a democratic country, if we can say that, there was still a huge lack. I mean, there was a huge void where was an unknown. People, they did not have any knowledge on finance.
All right, because the government usually just sees
of course. But imagine in Romania, I think it was 1990. So right after the
Berlin Wall.
The recession kicking, the inflation. I mean, obviously I was too young then to know, but later I learned the inflation was around 250%. So people, they were going to buy leather goods, not to keep the cash.
Seriously.
So it was a mental, and that was a time when people was being scammed with a lot of Ponzi scheme as well. Again, not financial education. So I think what's good in this age, especially for the young generation, there's a lot of access to financial education and trading and whatever you want to learn.
Yes.
But you still have to do your homework.
It's a lot of noise. A lot of noise.
Yeah, make sure you got the right. And another thing, I'm not saying that a young person cannot be a successful person, but you do have to look to whoever will be your mentor. What's their results? The results.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to have somebody with some sort of results. The good book says, by their fruits you shall know them. So you need to understand what fruits they're producing first before you even try to sup at that tree. That's important. That's right, yeah.
That's good. Right. So how can the listener connect with you or learn more about your work? Is there any, if there's any listener who want to know more about you, is there any specific place?
Sure. So at Instagram, my name is Balé Granville. That's BALEGRANVILLE. So at Balé Granville. Okay. That's you could connect with me there on Instagram, or Facebook is the same thing. Or even WhatsApp. I'll give you my WhatsApp number. It's 07878333396. You can connect with me on WhatsApp, and we can have a conversation. We'll see where you're at and how we can help you to progress further, whether it be trading or even if you're interested in engineering, whichever side you want. We could always help in that regard.
That's important. Important. Right. I think we came to an end. There's been a lot of things discussed here, and I really appreciate your time, Balé. I all the time like to learn from people which are ahead of me. Is a good thing to have friends. Neighbors, actually.
We're neighbors. We didn't even know that we were neighbors.
Not that far. We find out later, but we've been literally very close.
We were literally one house apart.
But thanks a lot for your time, for being here. I know the audience and people who listen to this episode will have a lot to learn and challenge their their behaviors.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I think the most important thing is stay hungry, stay with a positive attitude, right? Be open to learning and be open to serving.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Thank you very much. And also I want to thank to ACF Plumbing and Heating. So that's my plumbing and heating company, which is actually the sponsor of this podcast. Yep. They are the one paying the bills, which is good all the time. But yeah, we do want to give back to people, to community. Some of the episodes we have subjects related to customers, some of the episodes related to specific trades. And today to a different class, probably some of the customers they all might learn. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for being with us. Again, we'll put all this in the description below. Will be Balé's contact as well. About the school community. So if you are a plumber, gas engineer in that field, then if you want to be part of a group where you can bring in your questions, I learned sometimes that if you're the smarter person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So never be afraid to be in a place where you can ask questions, because this is the way how we learn. This is the way how we actually evolve. So the school community, which is SKOOL, the name of the community is Gasman. Of course, I'll put description in the link below if you want to get in touch. But yeah, till next episode, what can I say? Have a great listen to the episode. Actually, when the episode will be released, might be a few weeks now. So yeah, thank you very much for being with us, guys, and we'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.